Today, I want to talk to you about an idea called blender events. I know for most of you who have never seen my Dance Floor Theory program, you're probably like, what's a blender event? And now I'm just hungry. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you what a blender event is. I'm going to talk about the goals and the rules of a blender event so that you can create your own with the end result of increasing the engagement and the retention within your community, your organization, and your team. My name's Tom. Let's get into it. Now, before I talk about what a blender event is, we have to set up some sort of base guidelines. And I'm gonna quickly share a story about Wikipedia. There was a study done around Wikipedia called the 99-1 rule. And the 99-1 rule states that within Wikipedia, 90% of people are lurkers, 9% are casual editors, and 1% are the heavy active users who do all the editing. That 99-1 rule plays out not just at Wikipedia, but in a lot of communities. The research within the higher ed space shows that 60 to 84% of students will never participate in a college-sponsored activity. Gallup research finds that
66% of employers are
disengaged or actively disengaged within the workplace. So to set up what a blender event is, we first have to understand that the largest percentage of our population, our community, our group, our organization are actually down at the bottom in that 90% range. The lurkers, according to Wikipedia, the disengaged, according to Gallup research. And so how do we then increase engagement? Well, the answer has to do within Dance Floor Theory. We have a thing called the engagement pyramid. And in the engagement pyramid, we talk about that there's 6 levels of engagement within a community. Each level thinks in a different way and needs to be interacted with in a different way. Why that's important here is because the activities that you do to engage the 3, 4s, and 5s on your engagement pyramid are not gonna work for the neutrals down at the bottom, the disengaged people down at the bottom. So we need a strategy to engage that group. Enter blender events. Blender events are those strategies to engage that group down at the bottom, because the #1 goal to get that group is first, we just have to get their attention. And once we have their attention, then we want to build the connection. Which brings me then to the 2 goals of a blender event. The first goal of a blender event is to get as many people to go from meh to as possible, aka get their attention, aka have a pattern interrupt in their day. The second goal is to build the connection. Now that we have their attention, now we want to build the connection with them. And that connection is what's going to slowly start to bring them out of that disengaged space and into our world, so we can start building the social connection and move them up the engagement pyramid from a neutral to a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and hopefully a 5. And if those are the 2 goals of all blender events, here are the 4 rules that guide all blender events. The first rule: know that your disengaged people are never going to show up to something. So we have to bring it to them. So the first rule of a blender event is bring it to them. Wherever they're at, that's where we're gonna do the thing that gets them go from meh to and build the connection. The second rule is we don't wanna scare them. I know this sounds strange. I remember I was working with a fraternity one year, and I came back the next year, and the brothers came up to me and were like, "Tom, you will not believe this blender event we did on campus." And I was like, "Why do you talk like that? I don't understand." But they opened up their phone and they were showing me this thing they did called a zombie run, where they dressed like a zombie and ran through campus. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. But they took it a step further, and they took a gallon of fake blood and dumped it on themselves and then ran through campus. I was like, because every photo was them having a great time, but everyone on the outside was freaked out. And the last couple photos was the campus police charging at them. So to be clear, we do not want to scare them with our blender events to get them to go from meh to However, scaring is bad, but confusion is good. It's okay to have a blender event that confuses them, because that gets them to go from meh to All right, now the third rule. Continue to host those events, those activities. Do those things that engage your 3, 4s, and 5s because they'll continue to show up at those bigger events. But in between that space, we want to fill it with as many blender events as possible. The reason is because once we get them to pay attention, and we build the connection, the next step on the engagement pyramid is to get them to show up. But they're never gonna see that flyer that says free food, free swag, free money. They'll never see that flyer if we don't have their attention, if they're not paying attention in the first place. So the blender events get them to pay attention so that they see that flyer, that ad, that email that says here's what's going on. And then the last and final one is it's cheap. It really does not cost a lot of money to host a blender event. It's all about your creativity. It's all about ways to engage them that get them to go from meh to Two of my favorite organizations out there that create blender events on a regular basis. Number one is the Fun Theory, and number two is Soul Pancake. I highly recommend checking out both of those on the internet. They do an amazing job at creating these sort of blender events within communities. And then also we have several ideas we've seen work at other schools and other organizations and other communities. You know, sometimes they have a chalk wall where everyone can write something on it. Other ones they did clothespins, and they had on those clothespins they said tag your it, and then they tag people on their clothing without them knowing. Another one, they changed the stairs that walk up into the office, that they changed them and made them into piano keys. So that person who always walks in, who goes from their car to their office desk, back to their car, and that's their entire employment experience, they walk up those stairs, and for the first time, instead of just going meh, 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 they actually look up and go So we get them to go from meh to with these blender events. Hopefully you've got some inspiration, some ideas that you can go and use within your team, your organization, or on your dance floor to better engage your people, to create that culture of connection so that your people feel more welcome, more connected, and more engaged. My name's Tom. I'm here to help you to engage your people. I'll see you in the next video.